Are you interested in becoming a homeowner? Do you know how much money you need to save?
Do you accept bits of string?
In today's video, I will share with you the steps to buying your first home in Canada and cover how much it will cost and how much you should save. So if you want to stop paying rent and start building equity, make sure you watch this video till the end. My goal was to buy my first home by my 30th birthday. I never accomplished this goal, and I'm gonna blame that on a state of emergency snowstorm we had prior to my birthday, and then the COVID lockdown happened. But 7 months later, me and my partner purchased our first home, so this video will be a start to finish guide to buying your first home in Canada from my experience. But before we get into the video, let me know in the comment section below your goals about buying your first home. Step 1, figure out how much money you'll need. Do a bit of research on what kind of houses you can see yourself in, and then get an average house price. There's a lot to consider here, like commute to work, type of dwelling, townhouse, condo, fully detached. Do you enjoy your privacy? Size, how many bedrooms, washrooms, size of driveway, size of land, new, old, do you need to renovate? What about buying a duplex or buy a house with a basement apartment? You could rent out the other unit, which can help you pay off your mortgage, or even create cash flow. Also take into consideration, this will be your first home and it doesn't need to be your forever home. Once you figure out how much the type of house you want is, you can figure out how much you should save. The average house price in Canada is around $500,000. But since this is your first home, let's consider something cheaper, like $400,000. As a first-time home buyer, you only need to put down 5% of the purchase price, so $20,000. But if you only put down 5%, then you will have to pay mortgage default insurance, which can be 2.8% to 4% depending on your down payment. In our example, the mortgage insurance premium will be $11,200 added to the mortgage. And if the house is over $500,000, the minimum down payment requirement is higher. And if the house is over $1 million, you can't even qualify for mortgage default insurance. If you don't want to pay for mortgage default insurance, then you'll need to put down 20% of the purchase price. So now the down payment is $80,000. Now with such a high down payment, you don't need to pay for mortgage insurance, your monthly mortgage payment will be a lot lower, and you'll have more equity in the house. When buying a house, you'll need to pay for things like closing costs. This amount will depend on many factors like province and purchase price. Other fees you need to consider is a home inspection, property tax, home insurance, and a handful of other expenses, which I will cover throughout the video. Step 2, save for a down payment. So once you figure out how much money you need to make a savings plan. So let's say you want to save $50,000. How much can you save a year? If you save $10,000 a year, it will take you 5 years to save it for a down payment. To break it down, you'll need to save $833.33 a month, or $192.31 per week, then automatically transfer this amount to a savings account before you waste your money on pointless shit. If you want your house sooner, you'll need to save more money and or make more money. And one of the best ways to save is make a budget and stick to it. Should you invest your savings for a house or keep it in a high interest savings account? That all depends on your risk tolerance and your timeline. If it takes you 5 years to save for a down payment, your first 3 years can be more risky investments. Maybe your last 2 years move to GICs or a high interest savings account. But once again, whether you should save or invest will depend on someone's current situation. Another method to get your down payment sooner is to contribute to your RRSPs and go with the home buyer's plan. When you contribute to your RRSPs, that amount gets deducted from your gross income, but you already paid taxes on that income. So now you essentially overpaid your taxes, and that overpayment gets returned to you when you file your taxes. Then you can take your tax return and contribute it again to your RRSPs next year and get another big return. Note, the max that you can withdraw from the home buyer's plan is $35,000. So you don't want to contribute more than that. There's a lot more to go with this technique, so make sure you do your own research before considering the home buyer's plan. Step 3, build up your credit score. You want to do step 2 and step 3 at the same time. The minimum you want to aim for is a credit score of 680. That's the minimum requirement to get approved for default mortgage insurance. The higher your credit score, the better interest rates you'll get. And the interest rates can make a big difference on your monthly payment and how much interest you pay in total. To get the best rates, you'll need a credit score of 750 or more. But be aware that your credit score isn't the only thing that lenders take into consideration. The best way to build your credit score is to get a credit card and make all the payments on time. Try to increase your credit limit while keeping your balance as low as possible. And the age of your credit makes a big difference too. So start building your credit as soon as possible. If you want to learn more about building your credit, I'll leave a link at the end of this video. And if you don't even know what your credit score is, check out Credit Karma and Borrowwell. Both are completely free and cover TransUnion and Equifax. These scores will be slightly different from the scores the lenders use because they usually have a different scoring model. Step 4, build your employment history. Also, do this step along with step 2 and step 3. To get approved for a mortgage, you generally need a minimum of 2 years of employment history. If you have at least 2 years at the same company, then getting a mortgage will be as smooth as possible. If there's job or career changes within those 2 years, things get more complicated. The lenders will want to see your notice of assessment for the last 2 years and probably a few pay stubs to see if your year to date is on track. And obviously, the higher your income, the more likely you'll be approved. You'll also get a bigger loan and a better interest rate. Now, there's exceptions to the rules, but expect a higher interest rate. Now, before we get to the next step, can I get you to subscribe if you're interested in personal finance videos, and hit the like button if you like this video. Step 5, before you see a mortgage broker or a bank, do another house search. Prices of houses may be completely different from when you first started saving. You need to take into consideration the value of homes increasing or decreasing every year. Depending on where you live, the perfect house for you may cost $300,000 now, but in 5 years may cost you a lot more. If your savings isn't enough for a down payment of a house you're interested in, you need to keep saving or lower your house expectations. You may need to sacrifice that 2-car garage or a completely renovated house, or maybe consider living outside of the city you want to live in for a better bargain. And make sure you don't get yourself into a situation where you're house poor. This is when your mortgage or other home ownership costs take up most of your income. Also, when becoming a homeowner, now it's your responsibility if the hot water tank breaks, your roof starts leaking, or other repairs need to be done. So make sure you have an emergency fund, and if you're a homeowner now, that emergency fund should be bigger than ever.
Embody the true meaning of Christmas.
A few minutes later.
Step 6, get pre-approved from your bank or mortgage broker. There's pros and cons with getting your mortgage with a bank or mortgage broker, but generally, you'll most likely save money with a mortgage broker because they can check multiple lenders and find you the best deal, while a bank only offers you their products. You'll need to provide a letter of employment, notice of assessments, pay stubs, proof of down payment and closing costs, information about other assets and debts. I should also mention, the lower your debt is, the better chance of approval you'll have. At this time, they will also check your credit score, so hopefully you've kept your utilization low. The pre-approval will determine how much money the lender will lend you and what kind of interest rate you're looking at. You may also want to discuss whether you want a fixed or variable interest rate, the terms, amortization period, payment options, other fees, penalties, and if it's a closed or an open mortgage. There's no additional cost to using a mortgage broker or a bank advisor. Step 7, see a realtor. Your realtor can help you find the perfect house for you, advise you, and help you with the home buying process. They can also hook you up with their contacts like a home inspector or a lawyer. Your realtor will also write up any other offers, counter offers, and negotiate on your behalf. Generally, the seller pays the realtor, so don't be afraid to get the best realtors out there, or get a reference from a friend or a family member. Once you find a house you want, your realtor will put in an offer for you. The seller can either accept, decline, or counter the offer. If they accept, then perfect, move on to the next step. If they decline, you're way off on the price they were looking for, but your realtor should advise you on a realistic offer, and they will most likely counter offer. You can accept the counter offer or keep negotiating. Another expense you'll most likely need to consider will be major appliances, renovations, and furniture. So if you can try to get appliances included in the offer, it will save you some money. Once you've come to an agreement, now you can move on to the next step. Step 8, see a real estate lawyer. Once you put in an offer, you may want to start looking for a lawyer. The sooner you get a lawyer, the less hiccups you may have. The lawyer has an important role in the home buying process. They deal with all the disbursements, land title, land transfer tax, any searches that need to be done, PST on CMHC insurance, other fees and adjustments. Land transfer taxes are different in each province, and some provinces even give you a rebate on your taxes. And an example of adjustment could be the seller of the home has paid property tax for the whole year, so you might need to reimburse them for the rest of the year. All of these expenses, including legal fees, are part of your closing costs. This cost usually ranges from 1.5% to 4% of the purchase price. Step 9, get an inspection, survey, and maybe an appraisal. Getting an inspection done will tell you if anything is wrong with the house. There might be an electrical issue, plumbing issue, mold, or even a crack in the foundation you may not have noticed. If it comes back that there is an issue, you have the right to back out of the sale, ask the seller to fix the issue, or ask the seller to reduce the price. Although a home inspection can cost you $300 to $600, it can possibly save you a lot more money from unexpected costs. Another cost you may want to consider is getting a land survey done. A survey will reveal the details pertaining to the property, like property line and easements. A land survey will cost you around $400 to $600 depending on the location and type of survey. Getting a land survey can save you money by revealing any property issues you may have and cover you if there are any legal issues. Also, you may need to get an appraisal done as a requirement from the lender. An appraisal is an estimated value of the home. The lender may want one done so they know the home is worth what you're paying for it. This protects the lender just in case the buyer defaults on the loan. An appraisal is typically paid by the buyer and will cost around $350 to $600 depending on the location and property. It's also possible that the mortgage lender will pay for this service. Also, don't forget about getting home insurance. You'll need to have this for the closing date. And don't confuse this with mortgage default insurance and mortgage life insurance. Home insurance protects your home and its contents from theft, loss, or damage. Mortgage default insurance is the premium you gotta pay if you put less than 20% down, and mortgage life insurance is a payout received that will pay off the remaining balance of the mortgage in the event of your death. Mortgage life insurance is not required. Step 10, closing day. This is the day you take legal possession of your home. The mortgage lender will release the funds to your lawyer. You must pay the down payment and closing costs. Then you get the deed and keys to your new house. And that's it. Now make sure you make arrangements for your utilities, internet, moving truck, delivery trucks, and other services. So when buying a house as a first-time home buyer, you'll need at least 5% down, mortgage default insurance if you're under 20%, lawyer fees, closing costs, inspection, property tax, home insurance, and you may also need an appraisal, land survey, life insurance, furniture, appliances, and renovations. Also, don't forget, one of the most important things to have is your emergency fund still fully funded. And one last thing to think about is inflation and the prices of houses going up. So in reality, you should save at least 10% or 30% of the purchase price. If you want to become a homeowner, you'll need to make some sacrifices and save as much as you can. And with any free time, try to earn more money. And if you want to keep educating yourself, check out another video on the right of the screen. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep making money moves. Peace!